During the gold rush, a man named Darby went west to dig. He staked a claim, and after weeks of brutal work, he struck a vein of shining gold. He covered up the mine, hurried home, and borrowed money from every relative and friend he had to buy the machinery. The gold was real. He had held it in his hands. They hauled the equipment out, drilled down to the vein, and started pulling up ore. For one shining moment, Darby was about to be one of the richest men in the county. And then the vein stopped. The gold simply vanished. They drilled deeper and deeper, chasing a line of gold that was no longer there. Finally, Darby gave up. He sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s, and he took the train home, beaten. But the junk man did one thing Darby never did. Before he touched the mine, he called in an engineer to study it. The engineer did the math and pointed to a spot. The vein had not ended, it had only shifted. The gold was 3 feet from where Darby stopped drilling. 3 feet. The junk man pulled millions out of that mine. Same hole, same gold, 2 different men. One of them understood something the other never learned. Years later, a young and broke reporter was sent to interview the richest man in the world, the Steel King, Andrew Carnegie. The interview was meant to last a few hours. Carnegie kept him talking for 3 days because he saw something in this broke reporter, and he made him a strange offer. Interview the 500 most successful men alive: Ford, Rockefeller, Edison, and hundreds more. Find the one thing they all share. It will take 20 years, and I will not pay you a cent. The reporter was named Napoleon Hill. He said yes, and the book he wrote at the end of those 20 years has made more millionaires than any other in history. It arrived in 1937, in the middle of the Great Depression, when almost everyone was broke and desperate for a way out. And it did something strange. Hill promises a secret, but he never says it out loud. He tells you it will jump out at you, but only when you are ready for it. Most people read the whole thing and walk right past it, exactly the way Darby walked away from the gold. So let me show you the secret through a man who actually lived it. His name was Edwin Barnes, and he wanted to go into business with Thomas Edison. Not to work for Edison, to stand beside him as his partner. The problem was simple. Barnes had no money, no connections, and Edison did not even know he was alive. Most people would call that a daydream, but Barnes did not treat it like a wish. He treated it like a fact that had simply not happened yet. And then he did something that sounds insane. He spent his last money on a one-way train ticket to Edison's laboratory. One way. He left himself no path back home. He showed up looking like a tramp, and he told Edison to his face that he was there to become his business partner. Edison did not give him the partnership. He gave him a job sweeping floors. And for most people, that is exactly where the story would end. But Barnes was not there for a job. He held his purpose in his mind every single day, sweeping floors, waiting for the one moment only he could see coming. Then Edison built a machine even his own salesman thought was useless. Barnes stepped forward and said, "I can sell that." He sold it better than anyone alive, and Edison made him a partner. The daydream came true. Now here is the part almost everyone gets wrong. They think the secret is hard work. It is not. Read that again. Darby worked brutally hard. He dug that mine with his own 2 hands. And hard work alone left him broke, standing 3 feet from a fortune. The difference between Darby and Barnes was never effort. It was one specific thing, made of 3 parts, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Barnes did not want to be rich in general. He wanted one exact thing: to be Edison's partner. He could see it, name it, and almost taste it. Hill called this a definite purpose. Not a wish, not a hope, but a burning desire so specific you could write it on a single line and read it back. Darby wanted gold. Just gold. Somewhere, somehow. When the vein got hard to find, a vague want could not carry him through the dark. A definite purpose could. This was the first thing every one of Carnegie's 500 rich men shared. They did not chase money in general. Each one knew the exact amount and the exact reason. The second thing is stranger. Hill said you must hold your goal in your mind so often and with so much feeling that your mind starts to believe it is already real. He called it auto-suggestion. Barnes repeated his purpose to himself for years until it stopped feeling like a hope and started feeling like a memory of something that had already happened. This is not magic. When you truly believe a thing is possible for you, you start noticing chances you were blind to before, and you act while everyone else is still hesitating. The mind moves toward whatever it dwells on. Dwell on being broke, and you quietly protect being broke. Dwell on a definite goal, and you start building it without even noticing. And the third thing is the one Darby was missing by exactly 3 feet. Persistence. The simple refusal to stop. Every worthwhile goal has a moment where the gold seems to vanish, where the vein runs out, and every reason in your head says quit. That moment is not the end. It is the test. The people who get rich are almost never the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who kept drilling after the gold disappeared, because their purpose was too clear to abandon. So let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. What have you already quit on, 3 feet from gold? The business you started and dropped the moment it got quiet. The skill you practiced hard for 1 month. The goal you announced out loud and then slowly stopped mentioning. You do not know how close you were. Neither did Darby. The whole tragedy of that mine is that he was completely certain there was nothing left, and he was 3 feet wrong. Hill's point is brutal and freeing at the same time. Most people are not stopped by real walls. They quit at the first hard patch, and then they call that patch a wall. And Darby, by the way, learned the lesson. He became a life insurance salesman. Every time a customer said no, he remembered the gold 3 feet away, and he kept going. He got rich after all. So if it is this simple, a definite purpose, real belief, and stubborn persistence, then why does almost nobody actually do it? Because a vague goal is safe. If you never decide exactly what you want, you can never truly fail at it. You just drift, and drifting feels comfortable. A definite purpose is frightening for the opposite reason. The moment you name the exact thing you want, you also create the chance to miss it. Most people would rather stay vague than risk that. So they read the book, they nod at the stories, they close it, and they change nothing. The secret was in their hands, and they set it down, 3 feet from the gold. So here is the one thing I want you to actually do tonight, before this fades like every other video you have ever watched. Take a piece of paper. Write down one definite thing you want, not roughly. Exactly. The amount, the goal, and the deadline. Then write one sentence on what you will give to get it, because Hill was clear about this. There is no such thing as something for nothing. Read it out loud when you wake and again before you sleep, until it stops feeling like a wish and starts feeling like a fact you are simply walking toward. Because you are almost certainly closer to something than you feel right now. The only real question left is whether you stop drilling or dig the last 3 feet. If this one hit you, the video on your screen shows the people who quietly did all of this, the ordinary millionaires living right on your own street. I am the monocle. Keep thinking.